This is probably this next part, though. It's probably the thing that most people are going to be talking about, probably the thing that lit up social media the most. And that was what went down with Chad Gable. He did talk to Akira backstage, and I was just as excited for him as everyone else when Akira was on screen. But let's talk about what really went down. Chad Gable is looking for help with the Wyatt Sicks. The Alpha Academy says they're going to help somebody, but they're going to help Xavier Woods. We get a video from Erick Rowan. Chad reveals to the world groundbreaking news that Uncle Howdy is actually Bo Dallas.
Shocker.
Spoiler alert.
I was surprised.
Bo Dallas comes out. The Creeds jump Bo Dallas, and then the Wyatt Sicks show up to chase off the Creeds. Jimmy, a lot of stuff to break down in here. I was just saying, go for it. Overall thoughts.
No, I didn't mind it. I like seeing Bo Dallas on television because we've seen those videos of him, those VHS tapes. And just to jump back a little bit, I was happy to see another member of the Wyatt family or the Wyatt Sicks in one of the VHS packages. But as far as that segment and how it went down and the Creed brothers helping out Chad Gable, we flashed back to, I don't know how many weeks ago it was, where he was talking to them backstage, and it just seemed like an interaction, and it was basically left on think about it. And I guess they thought about it and decided to join Chad Gable. And it makes sense for those two to come together because the Creed brothers are very good in the ring. We saw that. We've seen what they can do, but they need something more. They need some character development. They need to show a little bit of something other than just in-ring ability, and having someone like Chad Gable with them, hopefully can bring that out in them. But as far as the Wyatts go, you talk about wrestling cinema, man, this whole thing is just off the charts. I know it's not for everybody, but if you're into that kind of thing, you talk about sports entertainment. Again, nobody delivers it the way they do. And the presentation, I thought, was really well, if you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, nothing says, for Creeds anyways, nothing says we're bad guys now like a pair of new suits in pro wrestling.
And no socks and sneakers.
And no socks. You know those shoes stink after they take them off.
That's why you booed them?
I can smell you from here. I'm like Dean Ambrose with the gas mask on.
It's July.
Flobo, of course, there's a lot of stuff to take here, so I want you to talk about everything. But anyone who watches the show can probably read between the lines. I'm a little skeptical of the Wyatt Sicks, but I feel like every week something happens. I go, okay, you got me for another week. I always feel like I don't know how many more weeks you got, but every week it feels like they do that. This week, I was ready to go, man. Something better happen. And then when the video of Rowan starts, I'm like, oh, okay, we're just gonna get another video of them talking. I gotta confess, man, Rowan delivered in that promo. He absolutely knocked it out of the park. That was one of the most emotional promos I've ever seen. And I was like, I am hooked on this. I'm into it. And they got in the ring later, and I feel like they did that in a good way as well. I think, again, I'm saying this as someone I like to preface that I'm skeptical because I think there's a lot of people who's like, I love everything they do, no matter what. I'm telling you, I'm coming into it jaded, and they've got me.
Yeah, that goes without saying. I mean, because I felt very much similar to how you are about the long reveals, and I'm so glad. It's kind of weird that Alpha Academy is working with Xavier Woods, but I'm glad we had a clean break now. There's going to be no Otis. There's going to be no Maxine. It's going to be Chad and his new goons. Kind of weird. The crowd didn't really care for the Creed. They're actually beating up Bo Dallas. But hey, look, we all love booing Chad. So we got that video, that VHS, and shout out to Pat McAfee for being a good sport in the show, not once but twice, to have that videotape storyline on his legitimate sports program. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about this. We're getting a little bit from each member one by one. We all know why they're part of it, but the moment I enjoyed it was when Bo was getting beat up and the lights went out and the crowd was saying the chant I was saying out loud. I think that's when you know you hooked everyone, where he goes, we don't know what's going to happen, but you messed up, Chad.
Yeah, completely well done. I'm gonna ask a question. I like I said, I'm into this, but this is something that is on my mind as I look at this. Chad Gable, he's cutting promos and they're funny. He's, I know who this is, Bo Dallas. Haha. We're all kind of laughing. It's kind of silly. It's kind of jokey. I've kind of asked this before, Jimmy, but something this serious that we have with a like this video with Rowan, is it not a good idea to have someone act so silly about the whole situation at the same time, or does that add a good clash, if that makes sense?
I don't mind it as much because it's not over the top silly, if you know what I mean. It's almost like he does it, like I said, we talked about Lance Storm earlier. He does it in a serious tone, which makes it a little more, okay, it is kind of like comedic, but at the same time, in his own mind, he thinks he's pulled, he's figured something out, like Inspector Clouseau. He figured it out. You know what I mean? So I don't mind it that much, but I see your point now that you brought that up. I could see where that could be a little bit of a problem going forward. He needs to treat it a little more serious because, when we saw that Kurt Angle could do comedy and it was great, but he knew when to do it. And that's the difference here. Maybe he needs to just tone down that little bit of comedic delivery and make it really, really serious. And because we've seen that side of him too. And that could be, I think that works better in this situation, especially if you're treating the Wyatt Sicks as a serious threat.
Scott Langford says it humanizes the Wyatts, which is important. So good point.